Madame Ifeoma's shop was not merely a space filled with vibrant fabrics. It pulsed with life and stories waiting to be sown. The walls were adorned with creations that bore witness to generations of tradition, each piece whispering heritage and elegance. Customers arrived with excitement in their eyes, sharing tales of the events that awaited their newly tailored outfits. From weddings to parties, funerals to celebrations, it was the enchanting allure of her creations that kept the hearts and minds of her customers captivated. One sunny afternoon, the air was thick with the scent of freshly dyed fabrics when a newcomer stepped into the shop. AMAKA was a young woman with an eye for innovation, known for her unorthodox approach to fashion and a sense of style that was distinctly different from Madame Ifeoma's time-honored methods. Word had spread like wildfire about the tailor with a modern twist, sparking a flurry of curiosity and apprehension in the hearts of traditionalists. As AMAKA surveyed the shop, a wave of determination washed over her. Here stood Madame Ifeoma's legacy, a stronghold of conventional fashion, yet here was the opportunity for change. Social media buzzed with requests for the newest trends, while the older generation clung to nostalgia. AMAKA, armed with her sketches and a fresh approach, believed she could bridge the gap. It was clear to her that something had to shift if they were to keep pace with the evolving tastes of the community. Madame Ifeoma remained blissfully unaware of the brewing storm just outside her door. She continued to graciously accept new clients, delighting in their visions and turning them into beautiful pieces. Her mastery of the needle and thread was unmatched, yet she was also set in her ways. The thought of competition, of change looming over her legacy, didn't even cross her mind. To her, AMAKA was just another passing trend, someone trying to ride the tide of fleeting fashions. As the days turned into weeks, AMAKA's presence became a whispering challenge in the fabric of the market. Clients who had once frequented Ifeoma's shop found themselves intrigued by the fresh ideas AMAKA brought. She introduced bold patterns, vibrant colors that danced under the sun, and contemporary cuts that embraced the spirit of youth. Social media transformed her shop into a frenzy of followers, eager for something completely different. Word quickly spread that the young tailor was not only talented, but approachable. Her playful banter and captivating designs made even the shyest of customers feel empowered. Little by little, her clientele began to grow. The nuances of modern design intrigued them and opened their eyes to possibilities they had never considered. It wasn't long before the streets of the bustling market began to buzz with whispers of AMAKA's unique approach. The sound became a familiar tune, a gentle reminder that change was coming, whether Madame Ifeoma liked it or not. Yet, even amidst this turbulent current, Madame Ifeoma held her ground. Her years of experience had taught her the value of sewing not just fabric, but relationships with each customer. She knew that to sustain her legacy, adaptability was key. But how could she adapt without compromising her essence? In the faint hum of hope and rivalry, a new chapter awaited both women. A test of creativity and resilience destined to reshape the future of tailoring in the market. AMAKA's arrival stirred the atmosphere within the shop like a breath of fresh air. As she moved through the space, her bold patterned attire attracted the gaze of clients who thumbed through the muted fabrics that had long been the hallmark of Madame Ifeoma's designs. The contrast was undeniable. Where Ifeoma's elegance brought a sense of calm and tradition, AMAKA's energy sparked curiosity and excitement. It was almost as if the very walls of the shop leaned in to listen to the new melody she brought with her, a rhythm that resonated with creative freedom. Madame Ifeoma stood behind her counter, her fingers methodically running through delicate fabrics, masking her growing unease. She admired AMAKA's talent from afar, but couldn't shake the feeling of impending change that loomed in the air. Clients whispered her name with a mix of fascination and anticipation. "Look at that dress she designed for the launch party. So vibrant, so alive," they said in hushed tones. while Ifeoma's once soothing silence felt heavier with each word. In her mind, she began to question whether her own aesthetic, so cherished and carefully cultivated, was now outdated in comparison to the vivacity AMAKA radiated. The day rolled on, with AMAKA effortlessly engaging with clients, her laughter bubbling over like champagne. She spoke of patterns inspired by nature, colors plucked from the vibrancy of the market, and designs that dared to blend tradition with modernity. With every story she shared, uncertainty gnawed at Ifeoma, who watched the clients lean closer to AMAKA, their eyes widening at the bold ideas unspooling before them. This was a side of fashion that seemed foreign, yet thrilling, a departure from the exquisite simplicity that had been her signature. As the hours passed, two distinct philosophies took form within the shop. Ifeoma represented continuity and reliability, her creations woven from the stories of women who had sought her out through the years, while AMAKA breathed chaos and innovation, challenging the status quo at every turn. The more lively discussions swirled around AMAKA, the more Ifeoma felt the ground shift beneath her feet. She noticed how, one by one, her regular clients began to entertain the notion of stepping into the vibrant world AMAKA offered, seeds of doubt sprouting within Ifeoma's once secure realm. A client approached Ifeoma's counter, wearing a hesitant smile, as if balancing the weight of a secret. "I'm thinking of trying something different this time, Madam Ifeoma," she whispered, glancing over her shoulder at AMAKA, who was lost in animated conversation. "AMAKA's designs are so lively." The words stung. Ifeoma's breath hitched as she returned the client's gaze. "There are different kinds of beauty," she said, her voice steady but lacking its usual warmth. The client nodded, a hint of embarrassment creeping into her features. Yet clear was the allure AMAKA had embedded in the air, enticing her to step beyond the familiar. With a thoughtful grimace, Ifeoma watched as AMAKA effortlessly drafted plans for a client, her confident strokes on the notepad standing in stark contrast to Ifeoma's meticulous notes of the past. The warmth of the sun outside retreated as shadows of doubt pressed down upon the shop, transforming it into a battleground where artistry was poised to challenge legacy, and where the art of fashion was morphing into a vibrant dance of tradition and rebellion. As the rivalry deepened, the atmosphere in the tailoring district thickened with tension. Ifeoma could feel it in the way the air crackled with excitement, every gossiping word charged with expectation. The shopfronts that stood side by side now became markers in a volatile contest that had shifted the very fabric of their community. Ifeoma watched through the window, the light replaying memories of bustling days past, when her boutique was the heart and soul of the neighborhood. With each client that walked into AMAKA's shop, Ifeoma felt a pang of disbelief and frustration, as if time itself was conspiring against her. Within her modest space, Ifeoma began to reassess her designs. Her trusted sewing machine stood silently in the corner, a faithful companion that had witnessed the birth of countless classics. She examined the intricate fabrics hanging from the shelves, vibrant silks, luxurious velvets, and soft cottons, each telling a story of tradition and mastery. Yet, the fabrics that once whispered of elegance now felt muted against the resonance of AMAKA's bold creativity. It was clear that something had to change. Her old designs, while timeless, lacked the flair that was now in demand. On a chilly afternoon, Ifeoma decided to step beyond her usual creations. She ventured out, sketchpad in hand, into the bustling market. Inspired by the colors and patterns around her, women in striking prints bargaining for fresh produce, children laughing in mismatched ensembles, she envisioned a range that would seamlessly blend her traditional craftsmanship with modern aesthetics. Ifeoma let the sights and sounds fuel her imagination, feeling the stirrings of defiance begin to rise within her. Back at the boutique, she began to sketch frantically, a symphony of colors dancing on paper. This would be her voice in the heated dialogue with AMAKA. She envisioned sleek silhouettes that flattered every figure, infused with daring cuts that played on the edge of conventional styling. Each stroke of her pencil articulated passion and a return to her roots, promising elegance juxtaposed with a contemporary edge. She would not let nostalgia for the past cloud her vision. Instead, she would breathe new life into her narrative. As the days passed, Ifeoma worked late into the night, fueled by caffeine and resolve. She transformed her sketches into samples, her hands a blur as she draped fabrics over mannequins. The shop began to reflect a new energy, with vibrant swathes of fabric catching the light, echoing the heartbeat of a woman ready to reclaim her legacy. Word began to subtly spread around the district. Whispers turned into fervent curiosity. AMAKA's designs were fresh, yes, but Ifeoma was a master in her own right, and her resurgence was imminent. At night, Ifeoma would gaze out of her shop front, watching the flickers of AMAKA's neon sign glow in the distance like a siren call. It would take more than mere novelty to win the battle of aesthetics. She believed in the essence of her craft, a legacy built on skill, trust, and the soul of her people. With renewed determination simmering in her heart, Ifeoma knew that the rivalry had not just awakened a competitive spirit. It had ignited a renaissance waiting to unfold. Ifeoma's renewed drive blossomed into a rhythm, a steady pulse of creativity that echoed through the walls of her shop. Each morning welcomed her with fresh possibilities, transforming what was once a routine into an exciting expedition into the unknown. She began her days armed with sketchbooks filled with doodles, sparked by fleeting moments, patterns from the intricate fabrics of contemporary artists she discovered, vibrant colors she observed in urban murals that adorned the city's streets, and even the elegant details of nature unfurling outside her shop window. Each brushstroke of inspiration added to the complexity of her evolving designs. As Ifeoma delved deeper, her workspace became a tapestry of artistic collaboration. Gone were the days of isolation. She reached out to neighboring artisans, inviting them to share their craft, their stories, their struggles. An old woodworker named Chima, known for his striking yet subtle furnishings, joined her one afternoon. In exchange for sharing his techniques in woodworking, he sought her guidance in fabric design, illustrating how textiles could breathe new life into his creations. Together, they began crafting unique furniture pieces adorned with Ifeoma's textiles, a sleek fusion of wood and fabric that quickly became a highlight of the shop. Word of these creative synergies began to ripple through the community. Fellow artisans, encouraged by Ifeoma's spirit, gathered for impromptu workshops in her space. They explored the realms of fiber arts and contemporary design, intertwining their individual mastery into something revolutionary. Brightly dyed threads danced alongside traditional motifs, while contemporary cuts collided with heritage patterns, crafting a narrative that celebrated both the past and the present. Ifeoma watched as birth after birth of innovative creations unfolded, each piece a reflection of collective dreams brought to life. The shop itself transformed in response to this burgeoning energy. Walls that once displayed a handful of classic designs now adorned a kaleidoscope of ideas. Each corner burst with color, from bold geometric prints to delicate hand-stitched patterns, evoking joy and wonder in all who entered. Ifeoma found solace in this kaleidoscope of creativity, feeling the weight of stagnation lift, replaced by the exhilarating possibility of uncharted terrain. Community members began to trickle in, drawn not just by the goods on display, but by the aura of collaboration and commitment that enveloped the shop. Old patrons returned, intrigued by the evolution they witnessed, while new faces appeared, captivated by the story behind each piece. It was a shared narrative of perseverance, unity, and hope rekindled within the hearts of the artisans, an embodiment of Ifeoma's determination to uplift not just her craft, but also the very essence of her community. As the atmosphere buzzed with excitement, Ifeoma realized that she was no longer alone in this journey. Each visitor brought along a tale, a word of encouragement, or a burst of inspiration, forming an intricate web of artistry and support, a community rekindled in the spirit of creativity. With each passing day, Ifeoma could feel the tide turning, the whispers of her shop transforming into a powerful roar, resonating through the hearts of all who dared to dream. As the sun dipped low on the horizon, casting long shadows across the bustling streets, the excitement for AMAKA's exhibition grew palpable. Ifeoma could hardly escape the chatter that filled the air around her. The coffee shop where she often found solace became a haven of whispered admiration for AMAKA's art. Vibrant colors, audacious forms, and the boldness that encapsulated her personal evolution as a designer. It felt as though the entire town had converged to see what AMAKA had to offer, leaving Ifeoma to wrestle with a swelling sense of urgency that pulsed through her veins. For Ifeoma, AMAKA's success was not merely a reflection of talent. It was a bold challenge to redefine everything she had been working toward, everything she had built in her own craft. She put down her cup of coffee, her heart racing with the weight of both anticipation and anxiety. The impending competition transformed her creative process into a high-stakes affair, and she felt the responsibility to honor the foundation of styles she had once learned at her grandmother's feet, while also forging ahead into unexplored territory. Gathering her newly formed team of collaborators, Ifeoma convened them in her studio, a modest space alive with remnants of past designs and the energy of untold stories. Each member brought something unique to the table. A weaver whose nimble fingers danced across the loom like a maestro, a painter who blended hues like they were notes in a symphony, and a sculptor whose eye for form breathed life into dull beginnings. Together, they brainstormed ideas that merged their diverse influences. Ifeoma's hand sketched feverishly in a corner, presenting ideas that twisted modern lines around the curves of traditional patterns, blending history with the present in a way that felt both respectful and revolutionary. As night fell, they lit candles, the flickering light illuminating their shared excitement and fears. Amidst the laughter and ideas tossed back and forth, Ifeoma felt an exhilarating jolt of inspiration strike her. "What if we created a piece that told a story?" she proposed, her voice steady despite the rising pulse of her heart. "One that speaks of our heritage but isn't bound by it. Something both timeless and breathtakingly new." The room fell silent for a moment, absorbing the weight of her words. The idea sparked a flurry of enthusiasm, and they dove deep into their cultural roots, plucking stories of resilience, love, and the struggle to adapt, an echo of Ifeoma's own journey. They decided on an installation that would not only adorn the exhibition hall, but also act as a living testament to the fusion of traditional craftsmanship with modern aesthetics. Each collaborator would contribute a piece that symbolized their individual narratives while harmonizing into one symphony of color, texture, and meaning. Days blurred into nights as they worked tirelessly, fueled by a mixture of fear and hope. Ifeoma became acutely aware that every stitch, every brushstroke, carried the weight of her legacy. The final creation emerged as a dazzling tapestry, woven together with threads of history and dreams. Now the countdown loomed before her, not merely as a deadline, but as an electrifying moment of potential, where everything she had fought for would finally spill into the world. Each tick of the clock intensified her resolve, drawing her ever closer to that transformative evening when she would stand not just as a competitor, but as a courageous innovator in the face of a fierce challenge. As dawn broke, a soft glow illuminated the marketplace, revealing an energetic landscape bustling with creativity. Stallholders, dressed in their finest garments, stood proudly by their displays, eager to attract the attention of the early risers who wandered through the streets. The air was saturated with the scents of spices and grilled delicacies, mingling harmoniously with the vibrant colors draping the stalls. Today, the heart of the community beat stronger than ever, as the grand exhibition promised a showcase of ingenuity and imagination. Ifeoma arrived early, her nerves tingling slightly in anticipation. She had worked tirelessly, pouring her heart into every seam and every pattern of her collection. Pieces that spoke of her identity, her heritage, and the whispers of her dreams hung elegantly on display, each one telling its own story, through intricate embroidery and rich fabrics. The same passion burned brightly in AMAKA's innovative designs, which stood in stark contrast to Ifeoma's creations. Bold colors, geometric patterns, and dramatic silhouettes danced across the eye, reflecting her fearlessness and unique perspective on contemporary fashion. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, the two artists exchanged glances, a flicker of understanding passing between them, neither able to deny the undeniable magic they created. Together within the framework of the exhibition, people began to gather, drawn to the marketplace like moths to a flame, impatiently fidgeting as they admired the talent on display. Ifeoma felt a swell of pride as she noticed the crowd's murmuration, their eyes widening with astonishment as they moved between her flowing garments and AMAKA's audacious designs. The blend of traditional craftsmanship and modern innovation seemed almost surreal. Their collective artistry resonated profoundly with the audience. Lively conversations sprang up around the stalls as spectators dissected the beauty of blending styles, patterns, and cultures. The afternoon wore on, punctuated by moments of laughter and joy. The sound of clapping drifted through the air as Ifeoma and AMAKA took to the small stage set up at the center of the marketplace. Invited to share the inspirations behind their collections, they stood side by side, a testament to their evolving relationship. With every word shared, they wove together a narrative of rivalry transformed into respect, of artists lifted rather than overshadowed by each other. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting a warm golden hue, the evening culminated in a flurry of excitement. Attendees were beckoned to cast their votes for their favorite pieces, and the air buzzed with anticipation. By the time the final tally was announced, the applause erupted, echoing off the market walls. Ifeoma watched as AMAKA's face lit up with joy, and in that moment, Ifeoma knew that this was more than just a competition. It was a celebration of their artistic spirits. As accolades were exchanged at the close of the night, the barriers that once defined them dissolved like mist in the morning sun. What began as comparison transformed into respect, admiration, and friendship. Ifeoma and AMAKA shook hands firmly, acknowledging the strength they found in one another's differences. Together, they stepped into the next chapter of their artistic journey, bound by a shared vision of pushing the boundaries of fashion, one stitch at a time. Their partnership was destined not just to enhance their paths, but to inspire a community enriched by their diversity, a legacy that would echo in every corner of their lives and beyond.